Morning, everybody. Jim Lane, Sean Miller here, and it's a Tuesday morning, and Super Bowl week. And right now, as you would expect, not a lot of stuff going on. All it is out there in Phoenix is talk. And yesterday, they had Mahomes, Mahomes and Jalen Hurts together, talking about their thoughts of the game, and they kind of changed things around this year. They decided to give players, an opportunity to just kind of like sit there and do a TED talk, and got to fill up the time some way, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, once again, that's the problem with this stuff. And no one's going to say anything. Like, what do you got? Do you think you're going to kill this team? Oh, yeah, we're going to go out there and smoke them and all that. No, like, they're not going to. Oh, what's your first 15 plays going to be? Like, no one's going to give you any information. I watch the press conferences for Manchester United sometimes, and they ask the same question 5 different ways. And you're just like, look, man, there's only certain questions you're allowed to, like, there's only certain times, and they're out here and they're asking these questions for
an hour.
And you're wasting questions. Like, ask questions they're going to answer to. Like, what do you think about the formation or something like this, or ask something they're going to answer. Oh, do you think this guy's going to be healthy? I'm not sure. We have to wait to see. Well, if he's like, I don't know, we have to wait to see. But and just get super frustrated. Like, as a journalist, I'm like, look, man. These are the questions you ask when you get a chance to interview like the biggest players,
right?
The most important managers, and all this stuff, and you're just like, you ask this question.
Waste the question. Yeah,
it's so bad.
The one I would have asked Mahomes, yesterday, is if your mobility's hampered in any way, whether it's your foot, whatever, fine. If your mobility's hampered, do you feel comfortable throwing from the pocket? To me, that's not. I'm not saying he can't run. I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking him, are you comfortable throwing from the pocket? It's a question. It's easy, but at the same time, it tells me what his mindset is.
Yep. Now, look, I don't know. It's like.
Well, and then you got Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts, a year ago, there were people in Philadelphia questioning whether or not he even should be quarterback of the Eagles. He goes into the offseason, he works his ass off, and comes back. And now, I don't think anybody in Philadelphia is concerned whether or not he's actually should be the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Should have been the MVP of the league, to be honest, because when there's 2 games he didn't play, they didn't win. So, I know Mahomes is getting it, but Hurts is the real MVP of the league. It's not even close. What Hurts did, and it's a little embarrassing that he's not going to get any kind of awards this year. But if he wins the Super Bowl, I'm sure he's not going to he's not going to care about that stuff. So, yeah,
that would be that's definitely one of those. You know what? I'm over it. But yeah, there's a lot of wasted questions, and I imagine, frankly, that Hurts and Mahomes yesterday would have been far more comfortable just out on the field practicing and just playing around. But they played so many games. It's not like you're putting in a game plan for Philly that isn't in any way different from some of the game plans you've already done. So I don't think that, this is more a week of just get your rhythm down because you didn't play last week and just move around and get comfortable. And for God's sake, don't hurt yourself. You don't want to go there and in practice hurt yourself. So I don't think, more than anything, I think they just want to be sequestered away and just let us worry about the game. And I don't want to go to these dog and pony shows.
Yeah, so, no, I 100%, agree with that. So
it looks like the Manchester United trade sale is getting closer. Right in front office sports that they expect the Glazers expect to close it sometime within the next month and a half.
Yeah, I
That,
think it's end of
yeah,
the. I mean, it's going to be before the quarter ends, so
yeah.
they want to take care of that kind of thing. I think it's going to be.
One of
There's a
the
lot of weird.
yeah, one of the things that I thought was interesting the front office sports proposed was that the reason some of these clubs are not getting purchased here, by guys in the States at this point in time, or in the case of the Blazers, they're going to take that cash and it'll be here, is that they want to get through the tax season. They want that to be a next year thing, so they have time to, I guess, figure out how to save as much of that money away from the government as possible. So when you put that to it, I think we all can relate to that. It's like, oh well, maybe don't give me that until after the 15th of April, and we'll be good. But that was their speculation as to what was going on there. So we'll see. And today we actually have some games to watch.
Yeah, there's a couple interesting games here. The FA Cup replays: Burnley, Ipswich Town, Fleetwood Town, Sheffield Wednesday, Grimsby Town, Luton Town, Sheffield United, and Wrexham. That'll probably be the main game, and the semifinals of the FIFA Club World Cup. Flamengo will play Al Hilal. That Seattle blew it the other day. They gave a goal in the 84th minute, so they're not the first team to win a game. First American team to win a game at the Club World Cup. They lost their first game. So and then just if you remember back to the winners of these games today, they don't have them on here. TBD. So I have to pull that up. Here we go. The winners of the games, Fulham Sunderland is going to play Leeds United on February 28th at 2:45 here. It's a midweek next time, so it's February 28th is Tuesday. The winner of Luton Town Grimsby will play Southampton on Wednesday, March 1st. Ipswich Burnley winner will face the Wednesday Fleetwood winner, Wednesday, March 1st. And the Wrexham Sheffield United winner will host Tottenham on March 1st. So should be interesting to see what happens today with some of these. And tomorrow, there's one more replay tomorrow. That's Sunderland and Fulham. So could be interesting. We already had the one. That was last week. With Blackburn Rovers winning 1-0 in extra time. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting. There's some decent games today. And you got Juventus, Salernitana. Everyone's kind of looking at Juventus now because they're in a fire sale mode because they've been docked points. And, Juventus is coming up because, everyone's kind of comparing them to Manchester City. And, what happened to Manchester, what happened to Juventus back in the Calciopoli scandal. So, yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. Their Manchester City is going to be. They faced 101 charges now, and they're looking into the last. That was only from 2009 to 2018. They're now looking into 2018 to this season now. So it's a mess. These clubs are not happy. There's going to be. My guy Carl was talking about this. What's up, guys? Eintracht Frankfurt 1.5. Hey, Bill. These clubs are not happy with Manchester City at this point. So, if they've been cheating while everyone else isn't, there's going to be some issues. Bill, you got Eintracht Frankfurt against Darmstadt in the Cup. Pokal. get pretty decent odds there. I think you get Asian handicap there. -1 is -115, so -1.5 is +150. I might actually even go with -1 there, Bill, on the Asian handicap at -115 to maybe protect your bet, but not a bad play there. Eintracht Frankfurt's playing pretty well, so they are in the top half of the table here. They're fifth. They're 1 point out of third, so they're right there in the Champions League spot. So,
So they're in the game still.
yeah. So, Bill, I think that could be interesting. I don't know, Bill, how you did over the last couple of days. So, give us a little shout about that. Tomorrow, you got City and United and Leeds. Sorry, Manchester United and Leeds playing there. Oh, team total over. Oh, okay. I think that's probably. Ooh, I got it at -180. I don't know if that's about correct, but might want to parlay that with something. But it should be interesting. I always like to see the lineups once again, but we'll see about that. So.
Interesting piece this morning that said that 1 out of 5 adults in the United States will bet on the Super Bowl, which is a pretty staggering number. It's about 50.4 million people plan to bet on the Super Bowl, and wagering total is guesstimated at this point at $16 billion. By the end of Saturday evening or early Sunday for this year's game, which would shatter pretty much every record there's ever been with regard to how much. Well, I don't think they could keep the illegal numbers, so it's going to shatter pretty much every record there has been heretofore. And with more states having legal betting, it doesn't take a monkey with a sharp pencil to figure out that that's going to move the needle in that regard. But 1 out of 4, that's a pretty high number.
Yeah, I think that's probably actually Bill, 180 too high for me. I mean, Bill, look, I think there'll be a lot of people betting, and that number is probably a little bit low. I think some people don't.
Well, that doesn't even count, the family bets where, or you said the other day, I forget what it was, where people buy the squares, right? Those are office bets and stuff like that. It's not, you're gambling still, but you're not gambling, gambling $5, $10, $15 amongst a group of people, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it legal? No, it's not, but it's still betting on the game.
Yep. Bill, you got 2.5 goals at +185, so maybe you go that way, with that game. If you think, they win 3, they put a strong lineup out there. Once again, I would just wait to see their lineup, but if they put a strong lineup out there, maybe they score 3 goals. So, but -1 Asian handicap might be the way to go there, and maybe parlay it with. I think Sheffield, I see the line on Sheffield United here. They're -250. I think that could be interesting, maybe something like that. Good luck in the LWS, Bill. Hope you win it. Yeah. I think well, Foxy, Chris Armas is replacing him for the games, which is fantastic. Another American. But they have those 3 guys. I think one of the coaches, someone said the West Brom guy. Leeds new manager odds. I think when you look at Carlos Corberán, but you'll love this one. You know who's pretty high up the list? Some guy called Marcelo Bielsa. So they might hire Bielsa back. Imagine that, getting rid of Bielsa and then bringing him back, man. That would be crazy.
And George
At least he
Steinbrenner.
knows the club. But Corbrand's 3-1 right now. Hasenhüttl 6-1. Pochettino 6-1. It's not going to be Pochettino. They said Postecoglou, which would be interesting because does he leave Celtic right now? Celtic's about to win everything. Michael Carrick 12-1. I can't imagine Carrick's going to Leeds. Brendan Rodgers, Thomas Tuchel. These guys are not going there. Bill likes Indiana and Wake Forest in college hoops.
Indiana to beat. So Indiana, he likes, because Indiana's not playing Wake Forest, so he likes the games that they're playing tonight.
Yeah, Rutgers at Indiana. Indiana's -4.5, and Wake Forest is playing North Carolina. So I'm not going to comment on that. Thanks, Foxy. You need someone else. You need to let someone else win sometimes. Yeah, Foxy wins everything, hopefully, except for the final. But he does win. But yeah, it's the next. The West Brom boss, Carlos Corberán is the favorite. You got to be careful jumping from teams that have a chance to maybe be in the Premier League next year to teams that might not be in the Premier League next year. So you gotta be careful with that stuff. It's always a risk. I'm sure the pay is going to be a lot greater. The championship, West Brom right now is in the playoff places by a point. Really, there are really on goal difference over Blackburn, but also only 4 points out of third. So it's be interesting. Sometimes you can't. The grass isn't always greener, but Bielsa is probably the safest, but you already fired him, so he stepped down or whatever you want to do with it, but it's interesting.
There's another little tidbit, interesting story that came out today, where the New Zealand women who are getting ready for their soccer World Cup was offered and has taken them up. The All Blacks team, which of course is rugby, offered their playing facility to the women's soccer team. So the All Blacks will be practicing somewhere else, giving the women an opportunity to play some soccer on their fields. So a show of solidarity. There you go.
Yeah.
Good to know. Nice to be in that situation. And so who gets the new job with Leeds? Talking about
it's going to be interesting. I don't know. Burnley should win today, I would think. Yeah, I think they're flying right now. They should. I don't know. Everything is pointing to that West Brom guy. I just it's interesting to take a chance on Bielsa again. If he kept him up, he'd be a hero. The squad is. I actually didn't think they were playing poorly. They were playing really well for Marsh. So, it's interesting timing. I would have waited till you see what they did against United, but whatever. Now, what's the morale going to be like? Like, they were playing for Marsh, and he just wasn't getting results.
right.
And then, I just don't think they liked that he was American. So, now half the squad is American. And, Armis is American, but, he's not going to be the head coach, and he's probably not going to be there when the new coaching staff comes in. So, I don't know. And then Marsh may end up going back to America to be the U.S. national team coach, which
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, it's almost like giving up on your club career, though. I mean, you get paid a lot more to be a club coach, and it's club coaching
Sure.
is more. You're a Premier League coach. I mean, I don't know if you go back and you become the national team coach for 8 years, you're not getting. I mean, you're basically like giving up. I think. I don't know. If I was him, I would try to get a job somewhere else, like in Europe. I mean, the guy's a good coach.
Mhm.
So, and maybe, maybe wait, maybe wait until, your club career is done. But, I don't know. People are making the connections. So,
Well, what about the situation with gosh, what was he going to say? You're talking about coaching. From a standpoint of why would you take a guy who's already coaching and has that head coaching job in mid-season and pull him away from his team to go and talk and play the coach for a year?
the West Brom coach, you mean, Carlos Corcoran?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, obviously he's good, but I'm just saying that's
I
so
think that happens a lot, like in the lower leagues. You see that, from the League Two. Some guys really doing well with League Two, and he's kind of.
So it's kind of he gets called up to the banks, huh?
Yeah. There's the guy. Some guy who's got Stockport flying. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Will Still, who's got Reams is unbeaten and whatever. He's a football manager kind of guy, and he's he's just dominating League One right now. Or just, he hasn't lost in 15 matches. A lot of draws, but he played the game football manager. He's 30 years old, and all of a sudden he's everywhere. He's doing well with Reims. Who, let me just take a look at the table here in France. He has Reims in 10th right now. I mean, he's unbeaten and whatever, but they only have 4 losses, but a ton of draws. So, but look, he's 30 years old. He took over after the sacking in October of Oscar Garcia, and he doesn't even have his professional license yet. The team has to pay 25,000 euros every game until he gets the license, and they've only lost 1 match in 17. So all of a sudden they're up the table and they're going to stay in League One at this point. So I don't, they don't really care about that. They're 12 points clear. So, a guy like that, I mean, he's not going to be at Reims for long. He's going to be somewhere, unless they pay him. He may end up staying there because they showed all the loyalty to him. But like at some point, Brighton's going to say, because De Zerbi's got a $13 million thing, so release clause. So someone's going to come and grab him. So these younger coaches, I think it's good because I think these teams are taking chances on the younger coaches. So this guy Corcoran, he's doing really well with West Brom. He's got West Brom in the playoffs, so they might say this is our guy. So if he's your guy and you want to hire him, you're not going to wait until the end of the season. So maybe I don't know. Maybe Barcelona comes.
You're going to jump in there and get him before somebody else.
You're going to get him now while you can. So, it's interesting.
It's something you don't see in other professional sports. The grabbing of a coach who's playing in the middle of the season. but that's what's the unique part of soccer from that standpoint. Now, you mentioned it's highly unlikely that any coach from the U.S. is going to get a job there. Is that because of perception, or is that because of not
No,
being a good coach?
every time, I mean, these guys keep going over here. Jesse Marsh was our guy, and he's just like, he takes that job. The problem is, he had already been sacked from Leipzig. He's doing really well at Salzburg, but once again, they had really good players. He's doing well, and then the Red Bull organization took him to Leipzig because he went from New York Red Bulls to Salzburg because the Salzburg coach went to Leipzig. So he's doing really well in Salzburg. So then he goes to Leipzig and he didn't do as well. And then he got sacked. And now he's open. Now he goes to Leeds. It's not like the greatest. He follows Bielsa, which is a disaster. Bielsa's like God there at this point because he finally got him back to the Premier League after 100 years in the Championship. So he comes in and he's like, if he's not doing anything, and then the other guy that went over, Bob Bradley, went to Swansea and was atrocious in 12 games, atrocious, and everybody's making fun of him. So I don't know, these guys got to, I don't know, it's gonna be a while probably before another one gets a job here because they don't, there's perception, and now you got Ted Lasso, everybody's, with that, I mean, that doesn't help, I don't think. So, that's how they see us. So
everybody looks at Ted Lasso, and he's the measuring stick, huh?
I have to fight it all the time on Twitter, And,
seriously, I mean, people actually take that serious?
No, I'm just saying, I have to fight the perception that I'm an American. I don't know anything about the game. I mean,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
I have to fight, I know more about I watch more games than all these guys do over there because they don't even have the TV open.
Right.
So, but I always have to fight it, and I have to, with my perceptions, which is sometimes, why, when I have podcasts or whatever, I try to, I don't take this stuff. Sometimes people will joke about it, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. If I make a joke about something, it's gonna be whatever, and people are gonna use it against me. So I take football seriously. That's the one thing. The other sports, whatever. But I mean, I always take that seriously. Whenever I write a story about someone, or I write a story about breaking the game down or whatever, I take it very seriously because I don't want anybody to ever use anything against me.
Well, I think, one of the things that we all try to do for covering something is to truly understand it. If you don't, when you go to cover something, you want to understand the game. And like you said, your credibility is on the line if you don't. Now, does that mean other people know more than me? Yeah, absolutely. But then again, I would like to think that I practiced and did my homework enough to do more than just a cursory job. So it's all about your reputation, and I think we all try hard to work on that to make sure. Okay, cool. You want to debate me on this? I'll debate you on that.
Exactly.
So, you want to know. And, I think the key here from your standpoint, Sean, is that, but not only do you know, how many people from the U.S. do gets on a plane and flies over and covers, games in Europe?
Oh, not many. I mean,
one hand.
Yeah, there's not many. I mean, look, I don't they can say any. That's the thing. That's why, the Manchester United, that's why everybody takes. That's one of the reasons why people take what I say seriously, because I'm not just talking about it from my basement in outside of Philadelphia. Right. I'm at games. I go to games. I'm at Leeds away. I'm at Wembley. I'm at I'm at Barcelona away. I go to, but it's not just Manchester United games. I go to West Ham. I go to games in Belgium. I go to games in France. I go to games in Netherlands. I go to games in Portugal. I go to games in Spain. I go to lower league games. So like, they can say whatever, but like all these people that, there's a whole thing, a divide on Twitter between people that don't go to games and, they complain about stuff. And it's just like, nobody could ever say that about me. I've been to 120 Manchester United games, and it's just like, I take the time, I spend my money. I do that stuff. So, I take it seriously, and I think people, respect that a little bit. And
yeah, I think the other part of it is that you're not just a homer. You go and you cover games, and you give people a very good opportunity to understand what it is that that's going on in a game. You break it down.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's crucial. And you are now, and I've only worked on this, with the show with you for a couple months now. But one of the things that's impressed me is the kind of knowledge that you have of the lower leagues. You mentioned you go to lower leagues games. You talk about games that, frankly, if you didn't tell me that they were playing, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And I like to think I follow the sport. But, you get into the granular details of these things. And I think that's why Bill and Foxy and the audience appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's what I hope. I mean, you have to, I don't know, either you're a fan of this sport or, I don't know. It's just, I'd rather just watch that. Like, I don't really watch a lot of TV other than soccer.
Do you know Rich Cimarelli?
Yeah.
Okay. Rich, if I need to know something about college football, I call Rich, who's, the head of the Maxwell group that gives the awards every year. And I swear to God, if I called Rich this very second, he could tell me who the second string tailback at North Texas State is. It's just one of those kind of guys. You've become that kind of guy in soccer. Rich is that kind of guy on college football. But, you dedicate yourself to actually trying to understand, but not just understand, immersing yourself in the way that, you can actually talk conversably with anybody about it. That takes time.
Yeah, that's right.
And, but it's time well spent, you would hope. Let me ask you a question, totally going off soccer for a moment. Are you a LeBron fan or not? Because
no.
Demands anticipation grows as LeBron nears Kareem's record.
Don't care.
Yeah.
I'm Michael. I grew up. First of all, I'm North Carolina, so Michael Jordan.
Right.
I understand what he does, but I just don't think, you can't make the case he's the greatest. He's lost too many finals. He's not. I just don't think he's like a leader like Jordan was. Like, you could tell me whatever. I'll say no. Like, no. If Jordan played now, he'd score 800 points a game. Like, imagine Michael Jordan playing now. Like, he used to play and get absolutely mauled every time he went to the basket, and they didn't call anything. Like, they didn't call anything, and then they started calling stuff finally. If he played now, it'd be ridiculous. He would score 100 points a game.
To me, and I grew up, directing games of. I saw Michael play a lot in directing the games I had the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers games that I did. And so I saw Michael a lot. And I also saw the Bad Boys and, how they played, like you're talking about, like knocking the living crap out of somebody. You went in against Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer. You better be good because they're going to kill you. And they didn't care if they knocked you on the floor. I mean, they knocked Michael all over the place, but he got better because of it. The thing I have, my problem with LeBron James is not really a talent aspect. It's a ring chasing concept. It's like how many rings do you think Reggie Miller would have had if that's what he wanted? Who wouldn't?
Moving around all the time, like whatever. I mean, I can't. That stuff is, stay in Cleveland and bring people there, and do that stuff. And you're the greatest. Oh wow, you assembled the greatest team ever to play in Miami. You won 2 titles. Like, okay, what about wow, 2 titles? Who cares? Like you lost to the Mavericks. You lost to come on, man. You lost to the Spurs. Like, come on, man. Like, no.
He lost to Popovich. I mean, Popovich.
Yeah, yep. You lost to the Spurs. I'll just Tim Duncan had there's 100 people. There's a lot of other people. I don't want to say 100. There's other people that can say this. And now at this point, he's just playing for money and to get to the point. I mean, you're 3 years removed from your last title. You've been terrible with the Lakers for 3 years. I mean, at this point, you're just hanging on to be the title to have the points and say you're the greatest, and you're not. So it is what it is. You could say you have the most points, but you're not the greatest player to ever play. So it is what it is. No one will ever convince me otherwise of that.
Well, I mean, you've got people saying, is he the greatest Laker of all time? And you're like,
come on, that's embarrassing. He's not even the 5th best Laker of all time. Like,
no,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You got, Will Chamberlain and Kobe Bryant and Shaq and Jerry West and Irving Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, you're forgetting your Carolina boy, James Worthy.
It's ridiculous. I mean, he wouldn't even get on the court. He'd be sitting on the bench. You could say whatever. I mean, if you put any of these guys in the NBA now, they would score 100 points. Well, imagine what Wilt would do right now, like against it's ridiculous. Wilt, Kareem, or Worthy, Kobe. Nah. It's the greatest Laker. There's no way. That's embarrassing to Kobe Bryant, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, because there's no question that, but Kobe could actually play different positions.
Yes.
And, this is not, and by the way, just for the record, he wasn't a coach killer, which is what LeBron is. LeBron is a coach killer. If he doesn't like the coach, he tries to get rid of him.
Yep. That's right.
I still to this day love the when he went to Miami, he didn't like Spoelstra at all. Didn't want to play for Spoelstra. Goes up, and of course, the general manager and president of basketball operations is Pat Riley. So he goes to Pat and he says, "Pat, we got to get rid of Eric, and you've got to take over the team." And Pat looks at him and says, "No, you're missing the point. You've got to go and play basketball. Let Eric coach. I'll general manage, and you can, call me whenever you have a problem with, with the play on the court, not the coaching on the court, not the assembling of the team." Basically, tell him, "Look, you can try to kill Eric Spoelstra. I'm not gonna let you do it."
Yeah, I can't. There's nothing like you could people. There's other things that people could make a valid point about, and I might listen, but I'll never, ever, ever listen to that. He is not better than Michael Jordan. There's no way. It's ridiculous. So Foxy or Bill says ready for the Eagles win. Hurts touchdown. 2 good bets there. Bill, I think Eagles win by 10 points. 31-17, something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Larry Bird is better than LeBron, 100%. I like the only people that talk about this stuff are like 15-year-old kids who've only seen LeBron play, or 22-year-old kids like that have seen LeBron play since whatever. Anybody that's ever watched the game for a long enough time, no one will say LeBron. It's just not true. It's just not true. The guy's lost as many finals as he's won, and he's just not, and he's always needed somebody next to him. So, Michael Jordan 6-0 in finals. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but one other thing that shouldn't be left out of this conversation, and that is that Michael Jordan, didn't make it for a few years because he stayed with the Bulls. The Bulls didn't have Scottie Pippen came, so did they changed coaches from Doug Collins over to Phil, and so all of a sudden, he matured. And the same thing happened when Magic and Bird came into the league. I mean, they matured over time. When Kobe came into the league. So, no, I got to agree with you on this. I do not think that the best player of all time was LeBron James, and no, to me he's a ring chaser, and ring chasers are not people who I'm particularly fond of. No.
That's right.
It's like, do I have respect for his athletic ability? Of course I do. But, there's a whole different world out there. And, I just don't buy it. I'm not a fan. And there's nothing going to change me to be a fan. So I'm like you on that one. That's just not going to happen. It's silly to even talk about it. So anyway, excuse me. Any final thoughts here, big guy, before we exit stage left?
Oh no, I'm pretty good today.
You got it. Any final thoughts from our esteemed panel out there, Foxy and Bill? Going once, going twice. All right, boys. Tomorrow we're gonna have a guest, and we'll be talking the Super Bowl. And so get your Super Bowl stuff. Well, obviously, we'll talk soccer as always, but we're going to talk a little about the game, and we're going to continue that process up until Friday to help you get ready. Tomorrow's your last day before you head out of town, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So one more day, and then Amedeus will be joining us tomorrow as well. So we'll have a full house in the building. And so be ready to have some fun, gang. We will be with you tomorrow, 9:00 a.m. We're going to be looking to change that time soon. We'll bring you that information tomorrow. Okay? All right. For Sean, I'm Jim. Have a good day, guys.